Hi, we're the Shift Doctors, again with Marshall Smith, asking a very, very interesting question. Marshall, how can our understanding of spiritual anatomy work in conjunction with Western medicine and Western psychology? Yeah.
Of course, that's a difficult question. Because right now, it is a, what do you call it, esoteric type approach to healing, which doesn't fit into the normal categories of healing in our society. So how can we bring this to a person that has no spiritual training, that has never even had an interest in it? I think the difficulty would be in this is convincing someone that here's a method that could work. And so often as when you do that, what you have is people coming that are in crisis, that they have proceeded down the road to some very deep illness that sometimes is wonder if there's a possible retrieval at that point for healing. I mean, retrieval from the state of death. Can you interrupt what's happening? I don't know if I can really tell you how that would relate with someone so much because I've never had the experience.
You've never had someone come to you with a very stage 4 cancer or heart disease saying, how can you help me in conjunction with my Western medical doctor?
All I could say here is that I would explain to the person what I have to offer and what my willingness to apply. And then I would explain as much as they could accept what I am about to do, trying to open them up to some level of understanding. And I would have to say that it would not have to be a great deal of openness for understanding. All you would have to do is to get the person to the point of willingness to say, yes, I will try. If you can bring them to that stage, then I would see just as much success with the process as with anyone else.
So it's a question of being open to heal, or it's a question of trusting you to be their partner in healing?
Both.
Absolutely. It's much like in Western medicine where we need to establish what we call in Western medicine the therapeutic relationship, which involves a therapeutic alliance. There is some connectedness between the physician or healer and the patient or the person presenting with an issue, and there is an openness there to say, I need some help, unless a family member had called them in. But I see, having had training in both Western medicine and psychology and in spiritual anatomy under your tutelage, understanding that Western medicine has a place once the issue in the etheric body is now manifest in the physical body, and a person is not either in a place or based on their own dogma of their own thoughts are not open to receive the spiritual anatomy form of healing. We then use Western medicine to either surgically affect the area in the body, understanding that the etheric issue is still there, or taking medication to attempt to change and alter what already is physically going in the body, or to deal with the symptom that we're having. But the spiritual anatomy approach works from outer within, really connecting us back via the healer to help us be open to have that connectedness back, or to inspire us to open as a patient to receive that spiritual assistance or energy of our own soul and other spiritual beings, if you will, to affect acutely at times that etheric body, to acutely affect what's going on in the body. I see it as a continuum, and that there is a place right now for all of that, because if we're not in a space to be of the consciousness to accept this form and reflective etheric healing, then it at least keeps our body alive and healthy enough to get to a point where we may raise our consciousness to be available to that.
Yeah. I will add also that when you enter a situation like that with someone that is not spiritually aware, just the fact that you have said, I will help, opens up windows that are tremendous in bringing help to a person. Because all the universe follows that cry. When say, I will help, they actually flood you with help. Mm-hmm. And there is basically nothing impossible when you reach that stage. And through my experience in healing, I have faced with many that I went in it not knowing what to do. Mm-hmm. But just by saying, I will, open up the windows literally of heaven, and all help began to flow through. And the person walked away in a form that I was astounded at the miraculous nature of it, even though the patient may not have been.
Right. So as the healer, you have to get out of your own ego and just allow that to the process to work.
And as a healer, quote, you have to know that. You have to walk into something with the unknown, knowing that before you finish, it will be known.
When was your first experience of being a healer or a facilitator?
Oh, when I was a very young man.
Mm-hmm. And what prompted it?
I was raised in a church that believes in hands-on healing, mm-hmm. laying on the hands of healing. And, I've seen many great healings from these preachers, and I say that carefully. In fact, that's what triggered my interest in healing. Because my parents, if a healer was in town with his tent, we had no choice whether we went or not. We went. We had to go. So I would watch very intently what was going on, and I would watch people that I know go up and receive some miraculous healings. And there was no denying. They were obvious. But I knew those people in our small little village to the extent I knew what they had done, the healing they had received. But I also noted that within a couple of weeks, they were sick again. Mm-hmm. And I said, God, that ain't fair. That crudely. And it triggered in me a desire to know what is permanent healing. And it's followed me for 50-something years.
So what did you begin to study?
And that's the basic,
mm-hmm.
right there. And that's the culmination
mm-hmm.
of it. Reflective etheric healing is a permanent type healing that works. If you really will do it.
And if you've changed the thought and had awareness of the thought that created the issue to begin with.
You have that, and it stays.
Right. But it's a question of changing your consciousness and changing
Absolutely.
your awareness.
Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of commitment.
Right.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Thanks so much for sharing your wisdom with us. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you. It seems like I've done nothing.
Oh, you've done more than you know, and he's written down more than he's aware of.
Spiritual Anatomy 1 and Spiritual Anatomy 2. You can find it on patriciahayesart.com.
This is Marshall Smith, and we are the Shift Doctors.
Thank you for
Thank you.
watching.